Hey everybody, and welcome to the Absolute Beginner Scarf with the Knitting Academy. I'm so excited that you're here. The goal of this course is for you to start and finish your very first scarf. Along the way, you're going to learn how to cast on your stitches, you're going to learn how to bind off, you're going to learn about different stitch techniques, all sorts of things will be taught in this course. So I'm so excited that you're here. The very first thing I want to talk about in our Absolute Beginner Scarf course is just to give you an idea of where the course is going and what your finished product will look like. So here I have 3 different scarves that have been knit. And if you get a close look, you'll kind of notice just some texture differences between these projects. So your scarf is going to be knit in what's called Garter Stitch. And the great thing about a Garter Stitch scarf is it only requires you to learn the knit stitch. So this particular scarf, the knitter, myself, cast on stitches, and all you're doing is knitting across the right side and then you're knitting across the wrong side. So the only stitch that you need to learn for this Garter Stitch scarf is how to knit. So if you look closely, you can see the scarf is made up of all of these bumpy ridges, and this is called Garter Stitch. So you'll see you have a ridge separated by this kind of gap or flat part in between. So the whole scarf is made up of all of these different kinds of ridges that give it a lot of beautiful texture. This is another scarf that was knit in Garter Stitch. I made this for my son who chose the bright colors. And all I did was pick 2 different colors, or he picked 2 different colors, and halfway through the scarf we just switched our colors. So you can see it has one side one color, the other side different bright color. So again, if we get a close-up of this, you can see all of these ridges. So again, this is a Garter Stitch scarf. So we have these ridges on either side of the fabric, and you'll know that both sides of the fabric, you'll notice, look the same. So both sides are made up of those bumpy ridges. So the last scarf I just want to show you, just so you can get an idea. This scarf is knit in what's called Stockinette Stitch. And if I get a little closer, you can see we don't have those bumpy ridges. We see really closely all of these little V's here, and it's nice and flat. So this is what Stockinette Stitch looks like. The right side is this nice flat texture, and if we flip it over, you'll see the wrong side looks very different. The wrong side is made up of all of these bumps, and that's what a purl stitch looks like. So that's why this particular scarf is a little more challenging, just because it requires you to learn the knit stitch as well as the purl stitch. So again, just the difference between Stockinette Stitch and Garter Stitch. A lot of knitting projects will talk about Stockinette Stitch or Garter Stitch, or you'll have to do those kinds of stitches for different projects. So it's a really great for you to be able to just kind of look and see what those stitches look like and how does it affect how your garment turns out. So just a little introduction video. Again, in this course we are going to be doing a Garter Stitch scarf, and it'll be a similar width to this scarf over here, just because for a beginner project it'll be a great number of stitches to start with. So in our next video we're going to look at the specific supplies that you need for this course, and we're going to get into learning how to cast on. So again, thank you for being here. Happy knitting!